under integers, ladies and gentlemen. We've done adding and subtracting, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we do multiplying and dividing. And the rules for multiplying and dividing are incredibly simple. I'm just going to give it to you and then we will talk about it. It ends up like this. Step number one is you multiply or divide like normal. That's not too hard, is it? Step number two is this. Step number two is this. If the two integers have the same sign, comma, the answer is positive. If they have opposite signs, comma, answer is negative. Ghost Rider, the pattern is full. Let's write that down. Give me a chance to jot that down. This is just how easy this is, ladies and gentlemen. Step number one says the first step is you do whatever it says like it's normal. In other words, 3 times 8 is 24, 3 times 8 is 24, 3 times 8 is 24, 3 times 8 is 24. That's step number one. You multiply or divide just like you normally do. The deal is you have to figure out, is it going to end up being positive or is it going to end up being negative? And it's just this simple. If they both have the same sign, whether they both be positive or negative, your answer will be positive. Both the same sign. If there's one of each, if you have one negative, one positive, it doesn't matter which one is which, your answer will be negative. Just that easy. Same thing here. These are all going to be 8s. If the two things you divided have the same sign, like this one, your answer is going to be positive. Your answer is going to be positive. If they have opposite signs, one positive, one negative, doesn't matter which one it is, your answer is going to be negative. It doesn't get any easier than that. Well, now of course you have to understand a few things. Let's take a look at this. Another couple harder examples. Let's say you have 6xy times negative 2xyz. The first thing you should figure out, is your answer going to be negative or is it going to be positive? Do they have the same signs or do they have opposite signs? One is negative, one is positive, so your answer is going to be negative. and then you're just multiplying. You can multiply the 6 times the 2. You can multiply the x times the x. What is x times x but x squared? You can multiply the y times the y, which is y squared, and then the z doesn't have anything to multiply by, so it just stays a z. That is the answer. Or maybe you have something like this, and here's where you have to be careful with the distributive property. If you have a negative 2x times x minus 4. When you do this, the distributive property means that you take this 2x and multiply it with both things on the inside. You have to look at those negatives every time. This is a negative, that's a positive, so my answer to that is going to be a negative. What is 2x times x? 2x squared, because x times x is x squared. But then I do the same thing, a negative times a negative. 2 negatives make that positive. And what is 4 times 2x? 8x. Can I put these together? I cannot, because they are not like terms. One is an x, one is an x squared. Or what about this one? Negative 6xyz over 3yz. First things first, is my answer going to be negative or positive? Why is it going to be negative? Because they have opposite signs. This one's a negative, so my answer is going to be negative. Dividing like normal, 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 identical things cross off with each other. Both those y's cross off. Both these z's cross off. And you're left with just an x. So my answer is negative 2x. They're all possible and doable. Now you have to be careful with this. Take a look at this. What about this? Negative 3. Let me do it up here because it seems like it works better. Negative 3 squared. And what if I have a negative 3 cubed up here? And what if I have this? Negative 3, whoa, yeah. Negative 3 squared. This is a big, big, big issue people have. First of all, let's look at this one. What would be the answer to this? And here's what you have to think about. Whatever, this squared goes with whatever's in the parentheses. So it is a negative 3 times a negative 3. Same sign, so my answers end up being positive 9. Now I'm going to get up there. There is a cold draft coming from somewhere. This one, now, what about this? Negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. Well, you got to do this one integer at a time. Both have the same sign here, so this ends up being a positive 9. But then that positive gets multiplied by a negative there, so now they have opposite signs. So my answer is going to be negative 27. And this one here, let me caution you on this one because this is where I see many people make mistakes. Remember what I said? The exponent goes only for what's in front of it. This squared does not go with this negative sign. This is just a negative, and you have to multiply 3 times 3. Your answer to this is just a negative 9. You are not squaring the negative sign. You don't have 2 negatives. It's not like this. It's a negative. Remember, in order of operations, you have to do exponents before you do multiplication. Well, that's why you do 3 times 3 first, which is 9, and then you just take that sign that's in front of it. You have to be very, very, very careful with that because I see people making those mistakes all